Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. So we're live, Elise, and thank you very much. So first of all, if I can ask you if you can hear me, if that's okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you okay, and I hope you can hear me.
Yes, perfect. Thank you very, very much. So let's open this. Ladies and gentlemen, a very, very good evening to you all. Hope you're all well. My name is Jonathan Waterman. I'm an award-winning wedding and events Toastmaster, a coordinator, consultant, compere, games entertainment, booking agent and MC. This evening, I'm delighted to be interviewed by Elise James, who is an Australian journalist within the wedding industry. Based in Australia, Elise has made time to interview me, so a very, very big thank you to her. Elise will be concentrating purely on my wedding and events Toastmaster, planning and celebrant services which I provide. That's both on the wedding, as I say, on a corporate basis. Just a little bit about Elise. Elise is a social media and marketing expert for the wedding industry. She has more than 8 years experience working in marketing at social media, communications and public relations within working in marketing. With a background in TV production and a degree in journalism. Elise has presented live to more than 1,000 wedding professionals and has represented the Australian wedding industry on TV, radio and in print. With her business, Elise James Media, she works to create new marketing strategies and manage social media for wedding businesses to ensure that every couple can find the right vendors for their fun, memorable and stress-free wedding day across Australia, France and the UK. So ladies and gentlemen, before we kick into the interview, just want to do a little dedication to those who have passed on during this terrible COVID-19 tragedy, all nearly 350,000 around the world. So let's just pay our respects to them and keep them in your thoughts. Thank you, everyone. So Elise, I want to say thank you very, very much for wanting to interview me this evening, and a very good evening to you, Elise.
And good evening to you as well, Jonathan. Thank you so much for having me. I think that it's really important at the moment. Obviously, people are having trouble in terms of how they think about planning their weddings and what they want to do. I think it's really important for us to be able to add that value and really explain how things work. So I think what I really want to learn from you today is how Toastmaster services can really help with weddings and other events at the moment as well, answer any questions that people might have, and then obviously just discuss about how your services play into that as well and exactly what you can offer too. So thank you everyone for joining us as well this morning. If you've got any questions for Jonathan or myself, just pop them in the comments. If you're seeing this on a shared page, if you just go to the original post and actually pop the comments on the post as well, that'll be fantastic, and we can make sure that we answer all of your questions. So Jonathan, I'll kick into it and start with just a pretty basic one, but a really important one in terms of how important is it to actually have a professional host for your wedding in terms of Toastmaster or even as a wedding celebrant?
Yeah, no, I mean, I suppose being biased in this, I feel basically a wedding Toastmaster is vital to potentially every event. Now, it's a value that it brings to the client is the most important thing. Now, the value it brings is I offer an exclusive experience to every client. I want to make the client's day stress-free and as memorable as possible. Now, that will mean me basically doing a scheduling with the client, which we'll talk and we'll put the plans together. I'll fine tune with all of the suppliers to make sure that everyone will arrive and set up on time. I will also recommend lots of games and guest interaction that we'll do throughout the whole time to really, really make it special for them and for all the guests that they have. And most importantly, really nurture them all the way through the process. So from the time they inquire, and then take them through all the steps to actually booking, getting a contract to them, and then working with them from day one, and then on the day. And as I say, I like to give them the clients a very, very unique experience, take the stress off them from day one, and knowing that the bride and groom and the families can enjoy themselves 101%. That's important. And the same with the Celebrant, to be honest with you. Again, the Celebrant's a very personal service, a very unique service I provide. There's lots and lots of value behind that, value that somebody could be tailored according to your wishes. I recommend lots and lots and lots of special things which we do in that ceremony. Again, it's all about the guest interaction, how I help you, and what I do prior to the day and on the day. And there is a hell of a lot that we'll cover.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important factor as well, is that people think about their wedding celebrant. They think that maybe they come, they perform the ceremony and that's it. But there is a lot of work that goes into it before the day to make sure that everything goes well, goes smoothly. Obviously, all the paperwork and things like that as submitted, you've got the signature as well. And so I think that that's really important too. And it's a level of professionalism that you can't really get as well if you just ask a friend or family member to do it, isn't it? Especially when it comes to hosting the actual reception.
Well, that's right. I've always said, to be honest with you, it's a professional task. I do appreciate there's going to be clients that are on a budget and they just want to keep it within the family. However, it's a big, big, big day of your life, and you'll only look back on that with regret if this hasn't been done for you properly and according to your wishes. I mean, you basically have potentially a story you want to tell, and I want to tell that story to your guests, really, to make it so personalised that it's something that you will remember for a lifetime. And both with the Celebrant and the Toastmaster, I do things where I do a candle unite ceremony, so I unite the family by candles. I do like a little Mr. and Mrs. game. I do some tequila shots for the basically the bride and groom. That could be either during speeches or at the end of the Celebrant ceremony. And there's loads and loads of little touches like that add up to make the day one that they will remember. And that's what it's all about. It's making sure the bride and groom are happy, and to work alongside the rest of the wedding and event professionals just to make sure that we're all on the same length, and we really just kind of all work together to make it special in our own professional capacities for the bride and groom.
Yeah, and I think that comes into it as well. I've heard it said quite a few times that the people in the wedding industry, we're in the business of making memories, and that is really the element that you want from a professional Toastmaster, because you want them to be able to actually host an event, but then create those memorable atmosphere to go with it as well. So, I mean, going into obviously the services again, we'll stick with weddings for the moment. Again, if you've got any questions, you can pop them into the chat on the Facebook Live as well. But most of these couples, they're going through this process for the first time. They don't really necessarily know what they're doing. What are some of the frequently asked questions that you get from couples in terms of how your services work as a wedding celebrant or as a Toastmaster?
Yeah, no, I mean, what I like to do generally, I kind of turned over a little bit of a new leaf, that because the service I'm offering is very exclusive and it's very personal. I like to actually I don't like to give prices over the telephone. I like to speak with the clients over a Skype or over a FaceTime or a source. They see my face, I see theirs. We discuss exactly what they want, and and ask them about their story, how they met, all that type of thing, just to get to know them a little bit. And then I'll tell them about the benefits of having the service, because a lot of people think, a Toastmaster may literally just turn up and do a few announcements and that's it, which is totally, totally wrong. It couldn't be any further from the truth. There literally is so much involved in being a Toastmaster. And what I actually do is to take them through the process. I'll actually send them videos, I'll send them reviews from clients as well, not only from clients, but also from venues, from fellow wedding professionals, to show the authenticity of the service that I'm actually providing. And that's I believe I want to say that, because it's all about building trust. Once they have your trust, then I believe you can move forward.
Yeah, and I think that's really true as well, actually having that trust in your wedding celebrant, your Toastmaster, that they're going to do what you actually want them to do. It's a big step booking any vendor for your wedding, and particularly the ones that come into the planning and the hosting element as well. And you mentioned as well, obviously, being able to meet face to face, which not as easy at the moment to do, but in terms of meeting and having those conversations online. So other than building that trust and adding that authenticity, what are some of the other benefits of actually being able to see the person that you're getting on your wedding day in terms of having that conversation?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, every client's looking for a particular style. Now, the style might be that they may want someone a bit more kind of laid back. They might want someone understated, someone very lively. And you know what I actually do is when the client wants to see that authenticity, so they know the person that they're getting, I will basically direct them straight to my websites. I'll send them the links, and on the web the links, as I say, to the reviews, to to the types of weddings that I've done. And what they'll do is in those reviews, it will actually give the clients the idea of the kind of person that I am, which is important, because they need to feel comfortable with me, because I'm going to be looking after the biggest day of their lives. So basically, it's all, for me, it's all about, as I say, people buy into people. But once the people have bought into the people, they want to see your credentials, and so I send them links to every part of the website to have a look. As I say, at the reviews, at the testimonials, at anything I can to make them feel at ease.
Yep. And I'll just pivot a bit slightly because you have brought it up. In terms of those reviews and testimonials, how important is it to actually research your suppliers and have a look at those when you are planning a wedding?
Yeah, I mean, basically, the very important thing is I always say to every every kind of vendor, no, I say vendor, every client, I would always say to them, that venues, for them to look up about, if they want to actually look at reviews and testimonials, particularly look at the website, which is reviews from all different sources of their various supplier. Also, there's Google reviews, there's reviews on their Facebook, there's their Instagram. So I always say to the client as well, have a look at their Facebook presence, have a look at their Instagram presence, see how people have reacted to them. So it's literally a whole thing, because if a client goes onto Instagram or they go into Facebook, they're looking at you. They're seeing the type of person that you are, the type of posts you're putting on there, the way you're interacting with people. So they're getting an idea about you just by going on social media.
Yep, and I think that's a really important note to vendors as well, in terms of actually making sure that you've got that stuff up there, because most couples do look at least 2, if not 3 places to verify their vendors before they actually book as well. So whether it's your website and your social media, or your website, or like a directory or something like that, they do generally go to check the credentials on two sites to make sure you're legit. So in terms of making a wedding personalised, and we'll move on to corporate events after this as well. So if you do have any questions about weddings, just pop them in the chat on our Facebook Live as well. But in terms of making those personalised features, what are some ways that you can make a wedding personalised to a couple? And I know that you mentioned games before as well. Is there anything sort of specific that you do like to do for couples to make it a personalised and memorable event?
Yeah, well, what I like to do, I like to build the schedule for the client. I mean, that way because a lot of clients, they might have an idea of what they want, but they don't know the running order of how to do it. So I'll work with them. I'll go through every step by step, do all the timings for them, and basically, and then what I'll always do is I'll also follow it up, later on down the process, and I'll call all the suppliers to make sure, as I say, they arrive, they're set up on time, they're all on the same page. So that's part of the value service that I do. That's just part of it. I mean, other parts of it, as I say, value-wise, it's knowing that the day is going to be well looked after, and the family and the guests are going to be looked after, and the whole process is going to be stress-free, where I'm sort of taking the helm and I'm liaising with all the suppliers on their eyes and ears, so to speak, just so that nothing actually goes wrong. Other parts of the memorable experience, the experience I can give them, is I'm actually the booking agent for lots of different things. So they can come to me for everything, whether that be wedding cars, photo booths, LED dance floors. So there's all of that as well. And as I say, I would like to think that the clients come to me. I look as well, as I say, with the reviews, helping to sell what I actually do my website. But as I say, they'll come to me because it's me, because they're buying into that particular person. So value-wise, they're buying into me, I believe. They're buying into me what I can actually provide, what I can do to make it very, 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 very special for them. And knowing I'm going to take the stress off them, make the day exciting and memorable, lots of special and unique touches along the day. They're not going to have to worry that the photos haven't been taken. They're not going to be worried about this one being announced, that one being announced. I normally announce the families in. I do special cake cutting ceremonies with champagne around the cake. I do a Mr. and Mrs., a card ceremony. I do dance competitions, everything. So, it's an all-in experience that's the value I'm going to bring for them to have a day they're never going to forget.
Yeah, and I think that's it as well, creating a day that their guests will remember too. And I mean, you mentioned just the coordination of all of the vendors, and I can definitely say, as someone who planned their wedding over the last 18 months, that having someone to actually coordinate everything for you and not having to worry about it yourself is a massive stress relief as well, to actually know that you've got someone doing that. And of course, there's a benefit in knowing that it's Jonathan that you're getting. It's not like you're booking with an agency and you're going to have someone else on your day. It is Jonathan, and you're completely right that it is good to know that you're getting exactly who you book.
Yeah.
As well.
Well, that's absolutely right. I sell myself as, I want people to see me. Exactly what you see on the website and my credentials is literally exactly what they're going to get. I also, going back to value-wise, as I say, I'll always offer them a solution as well to stay right to the end of the function, whereas I'll give them the most amazing send-off with last dance circles, with last speeches, and maybe a little dance competition at the end, just to really kind of just to close it for the couple, to make it that extra bit more memorable. There's literally so much you can do to enhance the day for the bride and groom, and that's where the personal touch comes in, to discuss everything, what they want and how I can enhance.
Yep. And now you are the complete Toastmaster as well. So we'll change directions a little bit and have a bit of a chat about what you can actually do on the corporate side of things as well. Now, you've obviously mentioned keeping people entertained at weddings, but what are some of the ways that a good Toastmaster can keep a very large group of people entertained? If you've got, say, a couple of hundred people at an award dinner or an auction or a gala or something like that.
Well, I've got a very certain way again. I'll offer to liaise with the clients on several occasions prior to the event, offer to build the schedule for them if they would like that assistance. Again, offer to speak to all the suppliers in advance to know they're all on the same page. Now, on the day, I've done things such as things like interviews. I've interviewed guests. I've done questions and answers on the podium. I've done question and answers with a videographer. I always make it very personal in the fact that they've got a particular style, they may want it. So the style might be they might want it formal, they may want it informal, and I'll go along with those particular wishes. However it works, I will personally be there at the door to welcome and shake hands with each and every guest to make them feel welcome and direct them where they need to go. If you've got people kind of a peerage there, your lords, your earls, that type of thing, I will always go with a preamble and address them correctly, both in conversation or via a speech. It's with a corporate event. It's about the presenting. Again, it's about the presenting. It's the same as a wedding, really, but it's presenting. Keep your eyes on the audience. Don't put your hands in your pockets. Don't slouch. And get your core message across to them. And make the audience, feel good, get their attention in a nice way. But the important thing is, as I say, don't slouch. I don't slouch when I talk. Don't put your hands in your pockets, and feel generally happy. And also find pacing up and down the stage is not good either. I think it's sometimes good to mingle amongst the guests while I'm talking, but don't kind of pace up and down the stage. So, and there's other things. Make sure there's water for the speakers on the lectern. I make sure that all the equipment is working for when we're speaking. So it's really quite a lot of different things. Really, it depends, as I say, what type of event. Whether it's a conference, an award ceremony, a gala dinner, they've all got their own sets of challenges, and I'll work according to their brief.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly it. Is you have to, in terms of working with corporate events and working with businesses to achieve the right event for them. I imagine it would be very similar in terms of how you actually work with couples as well, except obviously at a much larger scale. So what are some of the things that corporate events can actually expect from a conversation with you?
Well, they can at the time, they'll come through to me, they'll inquire, and what they'll do is and then after they've inquired, I'll have a chat with them on the telephone or over a Skype, however they want to do it with a corporate, and then we'll discuss their requirements, how they want it. I'll discuss what I can do for them, and then we'll tweak a few different things. But I find with a corporate, it's very different than working with a wedding client, because the whole protocol of a corporate event's totally different, really. It's, again, it crosses in ways in terms of the speaking and in terms of presenting the way they all want it done. As I say, I can be as much hands-on as less hands-on as they want me to be. I've had it on an occasion where I was in a conference once in Barcelona, and it was a whole group of wedding professionals that were there, and the main organizer for the conference got stranded en route due to visa problems, at the airport, which was unfortunate. So I had to step in, work closely with everybody, make sure all the sponsors were all there, all the speakers were ready to speak, just literally take the conference from beginning to end with the help of a few other wedding professionals. So I'm always up for the challenges. Nothing phases me.
Yep. And I think, again, having that experience means that you have someone who can actually do that as well, who's got the experience to just jump and hit the ground running in terms of those events too. So, I mean, we've discussed obviously the importance of having a professional at events and weddings, but what other, tell us a little bit about your event packages in terms of what you actually offer from a package standard.
Brilliant. Yeah. So let's start with a wedding package, for example. So client will come to me. My main standard wedding package is called the complete package. Now, it's very bespoke, very bespoke. So they can, I'll tailor the experience for them. Now, the package, as I say, generally includes working with the clients from day one. That's the first thing. Consultancy from day one, so they'll come to me with any questions, we'll discuss ideas. As I say, we'll do all the scheduling and the coordination together. So I'll make sure that everything is, the time is all exactly what they want. So the time is work with the venue and the suppliers. So I'll contact the suppliers, get the schedules across to them as well. Normally, generally phone them, but sometimes just via email, just to make sure they're happy. I'll also speak to the venue just to make sure we've got the loading bay and the setup times all correct. See if there's any red tape there. So we make sure we get all of the all the supplies in there on time. Now the package, so that's one part of it. Now the package includes ushering people to where they need to be on the day, so everyone knows exactly what they're doing. It involves basically discussing with the client potentially about ceremony plans to make sure we have the reserved seats on the front of the ceremony, to make sure the family is seated correctly. It literally makes sure that guests can come in and then everything's in my hands, as well as a couple, that they don't have to worry about nothing at all. I'll give the clients lots and lots of ideas, which I will actually do to really enhance their day. When it comes to games and it comes to comparing, I do lots and lots of I've got lots of ideas for guest interaction during a wedding breakfast or the meal. I've got ideas during the ceremony to enhance that. I've always got a twist on everything, basically, and that's probably me as a whole. There's always a twist on something. I can always make the function more and more unique. What I like to do is I like to offer them a package which is on my website, and they can use as much or as little as they wish. And that's the important thing. I don't like to force them to do this or force them to do that, but it's really up to them. But as I say, in long and short of it, the role is to make sure the bride and groom will have a day stress-free, memorable. So will the guests. And with any queries or should anything go wrong, I'm there to sort the problem out. So the thing is, everything might be fine if you haven't got somebody, but until something goes wrong, what happens then? That's when I'll step in and I'll do my magic, and we'll improvise. So it's literally a whole thing. It's really a whole process from beginning to end. From the moment they inquire, they'll be nurtured all the way through from the beginning, and then should they book me, to take them right the way through to the event.
Yep, perfect. And obviously that's your wedding element. And what about the level of packages for your corporate events as well? And what sort of corporate events do you offer?
Okay. In terms of corporate events, award ceremonies, gala dinners, product launches, anything. Also charity events. Again, the packages generally include greeting guests, assisting with speeches, which I do both at weddings and at corporate. So basically helping them to write their speech. I'll also tend to meet the nominees for the awards. I'll also present the awards if they would like me to. So I've got a very nice and unique way of doing it. I can build it up in such a way that I can actually host the award ceremony. But generally, as I say, there's sometimes when I have to do a receiving line. So you'll introduce the guests as they come. It could be the chairman, the president, whoever. It could be the chairman and the president wants to be invited into the room. There's also live auctions, which comes into it as well, which I'm also a professional auctioneer, which I love doing auctions and getting lots of guest interaction that way. I'll always go, as I say, go around, shake hands. Well, when guests arrive, shake hands with them, make them feel welcome, go around to the tables to make sure they're happy. It's, it's literally a whole process. And I find with corporate events as well, there's always times when you need to step in. There's always something else that needs to be done. And I can literally say the same. I can literally say the same with weddings. So at times, a lot of corporate events, I always is interviewing people as well, which I get asked to interview with some questions and answers. And I sometimes have to improvise with the questions and then they answer into the basically into the video. So it's literally just making sure, working with the organisers, making sure it runs smoothly, being there as a presence again, and being there if any of the guests needs any help or any assistance throughout the time of the event. I'm there to assist. Yeah.
And yeah, I know having someone on hand to actually jump in and do all of that is just so beneficial. So I suppose just the last question now is, what advice would you actually have to anybody planning an event at the moment, or just planning an event in general?
Yeah, I mean, advice-wise, at this moment in time, we're in a very difficult period. It's COVID-19, which, as I said, unfortunately has claimed 350,000 deaths around the world. However, I would say there has been a lot of clients that have postponed at this moment. I'm talking about past clients first, have postponed and have reorganised the dates, and the venues have been very good with that. And there's other clients that have cancelled. I would say if you're looking at booking now, the way I would look at it for venues now, a lot of people look at venues and they just believe a show round is the only way to go to the venue, have a show round to see if they like it. Okay, that works. However, there are venues as well. If you go into Venue Insider, which is a very good website, and there are various venues that you can actually have a 360 in detail, 360 degrees view of the venue, and that gives you an idea of all the space there is. So I would say have a look around at some venues, see what you feel happy with. And the other thing that's important is wedding insurance. Now, wedding insurance for me is vital. Prior to the pandemic starting, there was only 30% of people that actually took out insurance. And a very few of those covered for pandemics. There was a very small indemnity for pandemics. Now it's come to the stage where there's no insurance companies covering for the pandemic at all. But I would still advise every client to take out wedding insurance, whether it's a party, a wedding, a corporate event, just to make sure, should the venue go into liquidation, should a supplier go bust, should there be a death in the family, there's so many reasons to take that insurance. But look at the small print and make sure you're happy with what you're actually getting. I'm always happy to run past it with my clients if they have queries on that, on the insurance. So look out for that. Speak to suppliers. When you're looking for suppliers, don't go on price. You know, that can be a very bad thing. Go on the benefits that they're going to offer you. Take a look at their reviews before booking. That is my advice. Speak to them online before booking. I'll speak to them on the phone if you are a bit shy, of course. But speak to them online. See if you feel comfortable with them, because they're going to be part of your day. But as I keep saying, do not base your decisions on price. Base it on the person, because you buy into that person and see what that person's offering, see how unique that person is, and see what extra value that person is going to bring to your experience. I think that's the advice I can actually give.
Yeah, and I think that's very, very sound advice as well from someone who went cheap on their celebrant for their wedding and got announced as Mrs. Jones instead of Mrs. James. And that just goes to show the actual testament to experience and having someone who knows exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, Jonathan, those are all of my questions. Like Vineet mentioned in the comments here as well, it has been an absolute pleasure to chat with you this evening as well. Thank you very much for having me on as well.
Thank you very much for having me too. You know, it's the questions have been absolutely brilliant. And I hope it's given everyone a little insight. You know, not only about the Toastmaster service that I actually provide, but also generally about the wedding day, the corporate events, and I'm always on hand to help all and everybody. The main website you can find me is on www.thecompletetoastmaster.co.uk, and as I say, I'll be delighted to discuss your plans with all and everybody.
Fantastic. I'm sure there'll be quite a few people who will be getting in touch with you after this, Jonathan.
Well, I mean, thank you very much for your time, Elise, and I want to say a big thank you to you for for taking the time out to interview me. It's been dynamic, and I've really enjoyed everything you've done. Thank you again, and I wish you well, Elise. Thank you.
Thank you. And you too, Jonathan. Have a great week.
And you. Thank you. Cheers.
Bye.
What